Hello there, my name is Bruno Massa and I'm here to make a presentation of Guinevere UI Samples Part 1.
So we are here in Visual Studio Code. Here's the README, the code, files and folders, and let's put this here, the console. First example, we're going to follow the README, how to set up a new application, and there's the sample application to say just a hello world. It's the same here. If you see, it's the same code. Let me just position. They are the same as the sample 70 Pan GUI hello world. Is the same example. So if you go here, see, oh, it's already in the folder, given the folder. So if you run, just to check what we're going to do, .NET run. It's very small, but this is what we're going to get, a blank white screen with a hello world. It's too small, so we can increase the letter by 50, size 50. Okay, now it's bigger. That's the simplest Guinevere application possible. I'm not going to explain here. I'm going to explain using the sample 1. Sample 1, the same sample I used in 4 integrations possible, using OpenGL and Vulkan, and 3 libraries in C#, OpenTK, Raylib, and Silk.net. We're going to use the Silk.net. The Silk.net application using the same sample 1 is the same as the hello world. First we create the GUI, and then because we're creating a standalone application, we create a GUI window and pass the GUI. Then we execute win, run GUI, and the draw call that we're going to use. This draw call is in fact another project that was shared between these 4 projects. So let's check this. This draw function, this draw method, is the same of this originally from the originally hello world demo. So it's the same. It's going to be called the same way. I'm going to show step by step what's going on here. So first thing, this first line I'm going to skip for now, and I'm going to make a comment to the whole code except the very first lines, so we can show step by step what's going on. First, the GUI draw a rectangle starting from 0 to 0, so you start in the very top left corner in the size 150, 150, in the color deep pink. Draw a circle. This is the starting point, then in fact the center, and the radius. So it's going to touch the top corner, but it's a circle in a blue violet. Another circle in 20, 25, 25, 25, radius 25, same blue violet. And then let me comment this for now. Let's check what's going to be created using these 3 simple lines. First, let's go to this sample. .NET run. By using only these 3 simple lines, what we're going to get is the following. Here, first the square, the rectangle gets in fact a square because it's the same size and the same width and height, with the pink, and two circles. But the two circles, first we're going to change here because the two circles are the same color and in the same place. So we can change here, put it in 100, 100, and let's put only violet just to change the color. So now we're going to see two circles and the square. Apologies for being so slow because I'm in a laptop that's not a production ready. So that's what we get with these three simple lines. Draw first a rectangle, then a circle in the very top corner, then in the 100, 100, draw a smaller circle, color violet over here. So we draw the very first things here, very successful. The fourth line is not needed for now. I'm going to uncomment it, then I'm going to explain it later. And now I'm going to uncomment all these, but comment everything, I think from here, from number 3. So now the second thing, and this one. Now the second thing that we're going to do, create a node, which is essentially, if you're familiar with HTML, is equivalent to div. Node is a, or if you're familiar with file systems, it's essentially like a folder. So a folder, it's a node. For Unity is a game object. For Godot is a node too. So we create a node, expand it at maximum, so it's going to take the maximum length, the maximum height, and the maximum width possible with the margin. Let's comment all these for now, just to make sure that's very simple. And inside this, let's draw it with this color and a radius. But let's check what we get here. This is going to add a new feature that is going to provide it's the expand method that's going to add a new capability for your UI. Here is it? Yeah, here. So now we are drawing with a margin of 100, so there's 100 margin, 100 margin in all directions. Expand node and draw a background in this node crimson. So first, why it's expand? Even if I resize the window, it's going to expand to the maximum possible, maintaining the margin of 100 that we established. So 100 margin, in fact the 100 is the same center of the circle that we created before, 100, 100, and the margin is going to be 100, 100. So the margin. And you notice that that's rounded corner here in the bottom, but not in the top, because of this part over here. We defined that the corners of the bottom is going to have a radius of 20. If you remove this, the default is going to be all corners with a radius of 20, in fact. So If we delete it and rerun, now we're going to expect it that all the corners is going to have the same radius of 20. Let's check if it's going to be, and that's it. All the radius, you remember that. And now all the radius. You can establish one by one. Bottom and top right, for example, you can combine them because it's a flag, so you can combine all the bottom, all the right, all the top left, etc. And if you eliminate all this and just maintain the color, none of them are going to be rounded. They're going to be all pointed corners, normal rectangles, exactly the same rectangle that we drawn here. So all the nodes are rectangle by definition, because it's an area, right? Okay, so here. Yeah, now we get it. The same expanding node with no rounded corners. Well, now let's test nesting stuff. I'm going to add some things that I'm going to mention later. Like this one, I'm going to add this, then I'll explain later. And what we're going to get by adding these lines, a new node inside a node. And the first time we're drawing a text, it's FPS. So how many frames we're going to run. So inside this node, even if I move, it's going to move again. The frame rate that is going to be drawing. And here. And what's the commands to draw this greenish? We say that first the size of 75, and given a margin of at least 10. So even if it's very small, it's going to maintain the 10, the margin. So even if it's comprised, it's going to be 10, 10 in the horizontal and 20 vertical and its margin. And padding means it's kind of the internal margin. So the text that is inside this node is going to respect this kind of internal margin of 10. That's why it's printed here and not in the very top corner. Now we're going to test two things at the same time. Now conditional rendering. So it's going to only render this new node if I press left shift. And now so we're going to see how layouting works. In this demo, the direction is horizontal with a gap between the elements is 10 and a line in the center. So a line in the 0 to 1 is in the middle. Let's see how we're going to get it. And how we can change each of these settings to check how it's going to happen. So it seems like the previous one, but when I press shift, suddenly this new node appears. So let me put this code here. Only when I press left shift, create in this frame a new node and print it in white with a radius of 15. So that's we're getting here. A node is slightly bigger than the previous one, is 100, 100. The previous one is 75, 75. All in white, and only when I release it, it disappears. A second thing that we're seeing that there's alignment. So every element here is aligned in horizontal. And there's a gap here in 10 and 10. Each element has 10 pixels for each element, the element on the left and the element on the right. So in the total 20, when they are created together, 20 pixels separating them. On the horizontal, and they're starting in the middle. We can start in the beginning, and it can be vertical, for example. Vertical, and the gap can be larger, like for example, let's put like 50. Run again. So now the sequence is going to be vertical, much further apart, starting very in the top, because now we're going to start in the 0. So as I said, so they're much further apart, vertically aligned, and starting from the top, because I started, if I back on this is going to draw everything in the middle of the horizontal axis. So we now see conditional rendering based on input. The next test that we're going to present, the next part of the presentation, is test hover and click iterations and changing the styling. So let me save it and rerun. Now we're going to create a new node, bigger, get the interactable part of this node. So it's an element that we're going to create that going to register if it's going to have any interaction with the mouse or keyboard. And on hover, we're going to change color if you hover or not. And if it's clicked, we're going to register the click. So now let's see what we're making here. So a node very big, 150. Then on hover, it changed color. Not only changed color, but changed the border here. So the radius on hover is bigger, so that's why it's become rounded corner here, much rounded. And on click me. If I click, you see everything from here is displayed, and including the message on the console. You really click me. So if I click many times, you really click me. So when I click, we change the text to, it's very fast, so it's not appearing, and we show the message on the console, you really click me. That's why we register clicks. It's essentially a button. So buttons, it says essentially a button here. We could make it more performant. For example, if we do like this and this, let me remove it. It's just a little optimization. If you wanted to contribute, please do it. You can open an issue in GitHub and say, oh, there's a better way to do this sample, and do it, describe everything you've done, or even better, fork the code, make the changes, and open merge request. I will be glad to make your very first merge request to Guinevere project and accept it. Finally, no, there are a couple of more steps here that we can. Vertical. So now we proved that already demonstrated the vertical, and we also using the vertical in the center, but let's check. Let's check this new feature here that we're adding to our demonstration. If you're not aware, if you're not done yet, please give a like and subscribe to the channel. Oh, there's missing a subscribe, and I'm going to publish more and more content of Guinevere and all the Mega4 projects in the following weeks and months, so stay tuned. So now we created a new box here, a new node. The same instructions as before. Remember, when I press shift, this white one appears. So it basically gives this instruction. And when I put the hover on, it essentially gives change the color. It's on hover, put a color deep. Originally it's purple, then a deep pink, and include vertically there's third level. In fact, it's part of the demonstration, because it's going to now very nested things. Is a node inside a node inside a node, and how it's going to behave. So these two is together. This demonstration is all together. The first node, every time you create a text, we create a node inside it. So we create a small, painless and simple node to contain the text. Then create a second node, and they are going to be vertically aligned. Yeah, that's it. So inside this node, that's inside the window, they are vertically aligned. When I press shift, they move right because the new node appears. So vertically alignment, and they respect the position of the parent. They respect the position of the parent. If I move, because they all have to be in the center, they all move as well. And finally, to complete this demonstration, is the Z index. The Z index is something that I set that everything is 1. By default, everything is 0. But for this one, we're going to create a node with Z index as -1. Consider Z index is how far from the camera the node is. So by default, every new node is increasing and displayed in front of the previous one. It's like we're going to create and put in the front, create and put in the front. But when we do the Z index -1, we're essentially saying that is in fact in the background, is behind everything else. So let's see this node that is blue. Let's check if there's blue square anywhere. As you can see, there's no blue square anywhere. That's because it's in fact behind our crimson node here. When I press shift and we create all of them, it appears. It was behind all this time. So when we shrink a little bit the window, we see that it was behind all the time. So the Z index -1 is behind. So we can create things that are behind, or even better, things are above, like pop-ups or menus that pop in the front of all the UI are generally candidates to you manipulate all the Z index for better construction. So that's it, a little demonstration of how to create shapes, how to create texts, how to align objects, how to manipulate index, how to use interactables. Later we can explore other samples. There are samples, look, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5, then go to 40, to 50, to 70, to 70. So, and in total we probably have like more than 20 samples that you can explore and check for yourself and study. Thank you for watching. For everyone that is a fan of Fan Club, thank you for your support, and for everything and everyone else, peace.